So I'm showing you this angle before I adjust the truss rod. Obviously the nut is coming out, we're doing a compensated nut. But you've heard me say in other videos about making sure that the truss rod is loaded before you true up the fingerboard. The same holds true when you're dressing frets. So right now I see a fairly heavy dip, and that's not a big deal, that's why you got a truss rod. So let's adjust that truss rod and see how much of a difference it makes. So we'll try that wrench again, now that I got all that excess paint off, and see how much of a difference it's going to make when we do adjust that truss rod. You can probably see better than I can. Well, the truss rod's definitely working. That definitely straightened it out. Let's get those old strings off, and we'll get down to the nitty-gritty here and really check this neck. So before we go anywhere near this thing with a file, leveling file, we're going to check this first. So this is the 10-inch straight edge, and I like it because it kind of divides the neck in thirds, kind of bottom third, middle third, top third. When I go from the 1st fret to the 8th fret, we got a bit of rocking there. It's decreased, nothing on the bass side, no rocking on the bass side. It's mostly on the treble side, and it decreases as I make my way to the bass side, no rocking at all. Center of the neck, no rocking. Top end of the neck, now this is the 10-inch straight edge. Let's go down to the next straight edge. Here's our 6-inch straight edge. See what kind of action we get here. Ah, no issue. No, looks good. Good. It's definitely rocking here where the 10-inch one was. But even coming one string over to the 5th string, we're getting a high spot right here. Let's go down to the next straight edge. Here's our 3-inch straight edge. Looking good at the neck junction. I think they finally got that solved. Good for them. I think Gibson have finally... a little bit of rocking here for the 1st string. A little bit of discrepancy, but much better. They've obviously been kind of tuning in with this CNC machine they've been using, and they're getting better at it, and that's good. That's a good sign. There's the puppy right there. That's high. Not on the bass side, just the treble side. I have adjusted the truss rod and got that neck as straight as humanly possible, and we end up with this area here where there's a little bit of trouble. And it's another argument for taking out the nut. We're putting a compensated nut in anyway. It gives us full access across this problem area. Alright, let's get that nut out. I'm not holding out a lot of hope for this. These nuts tend to be super glued in now, but we'll see how we make out. Give that 4 minutes. There's our 4 minutes. Just going to score this side. You have to score that, otherwise you'll pull the lacquer off the face of the headstock. On this side. Let's see if we have any luck with this thing. Oh, we just might. Ooh, look at this. Yeah, baby. Doesn't get much cleaner than that. So you can see this flap of lacquer, and there's another small kind of flap of lacquer here that we want to just clean off. And as you can see, there is not a single speck of wood with that. We got that right off on the glue line, and that was the intention. Okay, now we're in the driver's seat. Well, seeing as we're doing these two in tandem, this one is also getting a compensated nut, so we'll heat up that nut and take it out as well. Let's see if we have the same amount of luck with this nut. Oh man, that's pretty clean too. I can't believe this. I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket. Well, Ryan's guitar does need a little bit of a fret dress. There's some fret wear in those first 7 frets. It doesn't need any leveling. This one is 100% right on the money. So whoever was operating the CNC machine that day, he's got it down to a science. As it should be. The other thing that's kind of interesting is you don't see the sort of famous plastic nibs over the edge of the fingerboard. I wonder why that is. You can see that it has those plastic nibs. So I'm not too sure what the story was on Ryan's guitar, if that was done on purpose or inadvertently. Yeah, drop that pickup down as low as we can. This next set will allow us to be able to just mask that right off with our, these are the fret guards that I send out in your kits. I'll start off with Sean's Les Paul first because I've marked that area there, and it does need a little bit of filing, not much, to level it out. The top end is actually really good on both these guitars. Like I mentioned earlier, I think you know, Gibson have finally got somebody on board that really knows what they're doing with these fret dressing machines. Okay, that'll do it. So we'll re-crown that. Get that 6-inch straight edge again and triple check that. That's all it's up. Done deal. I've got 320, 400, 600, and 1200 stacked on my scrub block, and I'm just going full length on Sean's guitar, and I'm taking out any trace of the tooling marks of the file. That was one time 320. It's our second 320, and I am concentrating where I actually filed to take out those file marks with the 320. Good. We'll bring you in for a good close look. Okay, next we've got our 400. Now 400 I am going full length. Okay, the second time 400. Now we stepped it up to 600. Second time 600. All right, a quick buff, and then we'll get on to Ryan's Les Paul. now we're on to the compensated nut and the rest of the setup. So we'll bring Ryan's up to the same stage as Sean's, and then we're on to the compensated nut for both these guitars and the final setup. That is the fit we're after. So now we can shape the top of the crown. All we're doing is mimicking that radius. So that leaves us plenty of material to work with. And this is the initial rough curve for Sean's Les Paul. So we're going to cut both of those elliptical curves and then we'll be right back. So once I get to this stage, this is when I like to kind of smooth it down. A lot of these notches are too deep. If they're too deep, as everybody knows, they may grab the string. Even though you're intonated, you still may have problems with the string pinging in the slot if it's cut too deep. Let's go across all 6 strings. Okay, we got pretty close right out of the gate on that elliptical curve. I am going to go across all 6 strings now and just open them up and point them towards their dedicated posts. Now we're going to do our final fit. We're going to smooth it out and sand down the top of that crown to lessen the depth of the nut slots, just like we did on Sean's guitar. Okay, over to the radius disc sander. So the very final calibration, I put a brand new set of strings on. So here we go. I'll give these strings a little bit of a tug because they're brand new, and I do this every time when I go through this level of calibration. Because the strings are tightened and loosened so many times over the course of a couple of days, when I'm in the home stretch like this and the guitar is completely done, put on a brand new set of strings. This is our last calibration check. Bear with me, and we'll go into the studio, plug it in, you actually hear some chords. And 5th string. Fourth string. Third string. And second string. First string. Okay, now this is 9 to 46 at concert pitch. Ryan's was 10 to 46 at concert pitch. So let's do the round robin on this one, and then we can go in and plug them both in and you can hear them. Let's go across all 6 strings now. And first fret. 5th string. Done deal. Let's go plug this thing in. Well, before we plug these next 2 Les Pauls in, I wanted to give you a close-up of the 10 to 46 nut Les Paul scale length 24 5/8 at concert pitch. And this guitar is Sean Till's. This is a brand new. He came right from the store, right to my door. And this is a 9 to 46 compensated nut, obviously the same scale length. So I can do something a little bit different this time. I'll play more of a kind of a blues vamp on Sean's guitar, and then we'll walk you through all the sort of tonal variations with those 4 push-pull pots on Ryan's guitar. So this is more of a blues funk thing, I guess, in G. This time around I would play something more like you would expect to hear on a Les Paul. So I've layered some kind of straight ahead rock rhythm stuff, right, in the key of A. Once again, I do this to play in different parts of the neck so you can kind of hear the intonation of the guitar across the entire span of the neck. So the first layer is this. So the next layer is this. And then the final layer is this. So I laid down that progression with Sean's brand new, spanking new Les Paul standard. We'll let that play, and then I'll put my turbo drive on. Grab Ryan's guitar. So before I even blow over this, I just wanted to show you what's going on with these push-pull pots. You got a basic three-way toggle, so that's sort of bridge pickup. Okay, that's with my turbo drive. Let's take that off for a second. Okay, so there's our bridge. And if I pull this up, so it's less output. It sounds like a series parallel. So, you know, kind of a thinner sound. Okay, pull this one up. Now, from what I understand, when you pull this up, no matter where this switch is, when you pull up this potentiometer, the one that's furthest away, it basically puts the bridge pickup on full out. Even though the toggle is on the neck position, this kind of threw me for a loop at first. You see when I pull that one up, even though this toggle is on the neck pickup, well, it's off. Turn that on, we're back to so this is essentially full-on bridge pickup, on-off switch. That's what that push-pull pot in. Okay, so let's go up to the neck pickup. Pull that up. Same idea. It's either series parallel. It sounds like a series parallel. So when you got them both on, you know, there's a bunch of different combinations you can kind of dial up. Maybe someone else out there can enlighten me. Anyway, so I'll let that play. I am going to put the turbo on and play through our rock progression here. I'll start with the bridge pickup. I'm kind of pointing at the controls so you can see when I make a change. Of course, when I've got the turbo drive on, let me do it without the turbo drive first so you can hear the sort of straight guitar sound, and then I'll put the overdrive on. Okay, so here we go. was my attempt at trying to blow a searing Les Paul lead. Anyways, it gives you an idea what this has got under the hood. It's a very impressive guitar. Both of them actually, well, they're Les Pauls. They sound like Les Pauls. So that's loaded with the locking Grovers. So that's basically the wrap up on these two Les Pauls. They're both super stable and play precisely in tune across the entire span of the neck. I know that Gibson's had their issues up and down. You can see in the comments that some people get completely incensed. And I get it. I can understand that. But you know something? I am still a sucker for a Les Paul. I don't know about you guys, but I remember the first minute I saw a Les Paul as a 15-year-old kid. Tobacco Sunburst Les Paul at the high school dance. The guy was plugged into a stack of Marshalls. It was like a 1960 Tobacco Sunburst. Woo! Man, I thought I'd died and gone to heaven. So I've got another Les Paul coming up, a Les Paul Custom, the Fretless Wonder, which is another one of the worst ideas Gibson ever had. Anyway, it's in for a refret. We're going to put actual frets in this Fretless Wonder. And as always, you're going to play by play. Stick around, lots more to come. Cheers.